This is Umar for BoxNation in association with Global Next Trade. We're at Milo's restaurant here in Regent Street. The usual, we have our lunches here. And actually, Frank, I wanted to mention something at the start here because we've got loads of familiar faces always come down to these lunches. And unfortunately, a few months ago, we tragically lost Colin Hart, who used to be a big part of these lunches, Frank. And I know sometimes we just get caught up in life, and obviously we all had that tribute to Colin as soon as it happened, but sometimes, not necessarily me or you, but sometimes we can forget that he was a big part of these sort of things here, Colin.
He certainly was, and certainly over the years, when I go back to the sort of late 70s, I should say, with him. So it was a long, long time. And he's sorely missed because he was through and through a great boxing man and big part of the scene. And we all miss him, we miss him in a big way.
Absolutely, and even at his whole old age, he was sort of the life and soul at these lunches. He'd sit right next to you, and
yeah, he was, and it's really kind of you to mention his name. I think we do, and I'm guilty of it as much as most people are. You think you forget these things, but you're right what you say. He was the heart and soul of what we do.
Yeah, God rest his soul. Okay, Frank, so for the first time, I was out on the weekend and it was really refreshing to see DAZN on a big screen. I was in a bar and I'll be honest, I haven't seen that before. That was, of course, because the Club World Championships, this new tournament, is on DAZN. But more importantly, in terms of this conversation, Usyk-Dubois 2 was advertised on there. That is something, perhaps, in the years gone by that DAZN were missing. I'm sure you'd agree with that, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Club World Cup has been, it's been brilliant. I mean, some of the upsets in there, whatever, but we're getting a critical stage now where the good teams are coming through, and there's some great matches to be seen, and it's fabulous for us because it helps promote our fights and our sport. It's brilliant for us.
Yeah, look, a big part of some of the boxing events, and not just boxing, other sports as well, on Sky or on TNT previously, were through your Super Sundays after the two big Premier League games. Or I remember, one fight that you had with Sonny Edwards, the Champions League promoted it, etc.
Yeah.
But now DAZN having that functionality, not be it through the Champions League or the Premier League yet, but they've got it through the Club World Cup, and that is still as valuable. People seeing that out in the summer, your fight with Usyk and Dubois getting promoted.
Well, it does. Cross-promotion of sports is a brilliant thing for us, our game. And, and the Club World Cup is a brilliant event. I mean, it's obviously filled a big void in the football calendar over the summer. And boxing, as you know, is a big part of DAZN and obviously what we're all about. But we got a great fight. We got a fabulous fight on the 19th of July at Wembley. We've sold 83,000 tickets, which is a yardstick to see where we go with the pay-per-view. But it's a fabulous fight, and at the moment, if you're watching DAZN, you're getting some great sport at the moment.
So that 83,000 mark as of today, 2.5 weeks sort of out from fight week, etc., and the whole event, is that much better than you anticipated?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought it was going to be a big fight, and people have bought into it, and they bought into it because it's a good fight. There were 94,000 people at Wembley, 96,000 people for when Daniel beat AJ. They see it with their own eyes. They see what he's all about, plus the people who viewed it around the world, and certainly in the UK. And it's translated now into ticket sales at Wembley for a fight against Usyk, who's considered to be by a lot of people, the heavyweight of the 21st century. So this is a tough fight for Daniel. I say it, and I'm going to prefix this by saying it's the first time a British heavyweight has fought for 4 belts in the UK, and he can create history. So listen to me. I'm not talking about other weights. I'm talking about heavyweights, which I've said from the beginning. This is a crucial fight in the blue ribbon division, in the heavyweight division. This is a tough fight. against an undefeated guy who won the gold medal in the Olympic Games, unified the cruiserweight belts, the 4 of those belts, and unified the heavyweight belts. Undefeated. This is a tough, historic fight for both men.
Just back to the tickets, with 83,000 gone, we're on the 30th of June now. What are we looking at? Are we looking at the 90,000 mark?
I hope we get there. I mean, you know, we're a couple of, was it nearly 3 weeks or just under 3 weeks away from the event? Yeah, and we're not got into the fight week publicity. So yeah, I'm confident we can do that.
Look, I know you're going to say Daniel's going to come through in this fight. In the Joshua fight, it was pretty plain sailing. What I'm saying in terms of that is he didn't have to go through any dark moments. Whether he wins or not on the 19th of July, do you think at some point he's going to have to go through some very dark moments against Usyk?
Well, if he's got to go through him, he's got to go through him. He's a 27-year-old heavyweight IBF champion. He's at the level where you get into dark moments. That sorts the men out from the boys. He was in dark moments in the first 3 rounds against Hrgovic.
And Miller as well.
And Miller. They would, but certainly in the Hrgovic fight.
But this is a different level, isn't it?
Well, of course he's going up another level. But you know what? He's had experience, he's learning, he's come through it and done what he's had to do. He went into the Lions Den against AJ. I mean, AJ was a hometown favourite. I would say 90%, 95% of the fans there were looking for him to win the fight. And he went in there and did what he did. He's a very, very capable fighter. He's a road warrior. He's been on the road himself. And one thing about it is whatever way you want to look at it, he knows he can hurt Usyk because he did hurt him.
Okay. I'm just going to name some sort of major sporting achievements from Great Britain, and I want you to say whether, if Daniel does beat Alexander and wins the 4 belts on July 19th, if it's a better achievement or not, okay?
So I say better or not?
Yeah. Okay. So England winning in 1966 against Germany.
Ooh, par.
Sitting on the fence there. Andy Murray's win at Wimbledon.
Better.
Okay. The moment that Johnny Wilkinson had in the 2003 Rugby World Cup.
Better.
England beating Australia in the Ashes in 2005.
Better.
Okay. Mo Farah's double Olympic gold in 2012.
Better.
Okay. Anthony Joshua's gold at the Olympics.
Better.
Tyson Fury beating Vladimir Klitschko in Germany.
Ooh, on par. Let me tell you something. All those sports other than the boxing you spoke about, no one's punching you in the head.
True.
You're going out there, one-on-one, you lose a match, you can play next week, you're playing rugby, whatever it is, football, all those things. They're all magnificent achievements, and I'm not demeaning any of them. But this is the first time a Brit in the UK has fought for the 4 belts against a undefeated fighter who's considered to be, in his division, the best of the 21st century.
So interestingly, on that list I just listed, would you say actually Tyson's win in Germany was the best out of all of them in terms of British sporting achievements?
He was a massive underdog against the best in the division and went out there and boxed his head off. Yeah.
When I spoke to you in Riyadh a few months ago, Frank, you said that potentially you could be putting an invite out to President Zelenskyy to attend at Wembley. Obviously, I know this is an ongoing situation still with Ukraine and Russia, but is that something that you've done or are looking to?
Yeah, and I'd love him to be there as our guest.
Okay. Right, sticking with the heavyweight division, just a quick few things I want to run through. There's been reports, Dave Allen's come out himself and said he was approached about a potential fight with Joseph Parker, Frank. Firstly, is that true?
There's been talks, but nothing's been finalised.
Is that something you think you'll get on later this year?
At the moment, as I said, it's been talks. We're no further down the road. But
regardless, Joe Parker will be out, September, October?
Yes, he's going to fight in September, October.
If that fight is to happen, look, obviously Dave Allen had a brilliant win over Johnny Fisher in the rematch, but look, Joe Parker's, in his opinion, right up there, number 2, number 3 in the world. How do you actually see that fight between Parker and Allen?
I think Joe will be a big favourite.
Okay. Just like Joe, then you want to get him out obviously later this year. Agit Kabayel in Germany.
Yeah.
That the plan with him?
We're going to do that.
That would be big. DAZN obviously got the Bundesliga, so.
Correct. So we're going to do that.
Okay. What's happening with Derek, Frank?
Well, he's got his 50th fight in his career, and he wants the big fight. We've offered him a couple, and we've spoken, but I've got to sit down with him properly and go through it and see where we are. He's a mandatory challenger for one of the belts, and we'll see what he wants to do and how it's going to pan out.
Look, I know he was offered the Moses fight, which obviously now Dillian's got with Moses on August 16th in Riyadh, and Derek was very transparent and honest on TalkSport, where he said, look, I got offered 2 million. No, thank you. I'm not going to fight Moses Alma. But with Derek's 50th fight warrants a big, massive fight.
Of course it does. He deserves it. He's been on a roll. He's had a lot of good wins, and he absolutely deserves that. Of course he does. I agree with that.
Frank, just a couple of more things. What is the latest with Dennis McCann situation?
Dennis McCann's situation has become a farce, and we'll reveal more moving forward. It's a farce.
When do you think you can reveal more? Do you know?
Pretty soon.
Okay. From what you just said there, it will paint a good brush on Dennis. Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. Move on to that, and we'll get an update from you hopefully in the next few weeks on that. What's going on with Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes, Frank?
We're negotiating. That fight will happen.
Do you think you'll reach a deal with Top Rank for that fight?
If we don't, we go to purse bids.
Okay. Well, listen, Frank, thank you very much for the lunch.
It's a pleasure.
As I mentioned at the start, actually, look, Colin used to be at these lunches and it was a big part, so...
He was, and he's sorely missed.
Have you spoke to Cindy, his partner?
His wife.
His wife, yeah.
Yeah, I won't go into that.
Okay. Listen, thoughts obviously with him. It was a massive part of boxing. You knew him for so long.
Colin Hart was the heart of boxing.
It's a good way to put it. On that note, we'll end there. Frank, thank you very much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Roll on New York.
Roll on New York. We've got a big show out there. Roll on 16th of August in Riyadh. Riyadh season fight. Riyadh season show. Great show. And we've got some really big ones to come forward. And the Bournemouth show. Ryan Garner. That's a great fight down there, and it's sold out before we even printed the tickets.
It's Queensberry v Matchroom.
Yep. Yet another one.
And I think in between you've got this little show at Wembley Stadium as well.
That small one, yeah, which we're working on.
Thank you, Frank.
So when you go, I want you to close the door to my bedroom, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
Thanks, Frank.
I knew we was going to win that fight.
Anthony Joshua eviscerated him.
Seeking destroy, that's how I fight.
This is the guy ready to take the throne.
2 semi-finals. You had Usyk fighting Fury, you had Dubois fighting AJ. This is like the final.
This rematch against Usyk is completely different.
Taking place
At Wembley Stadium, 90,000+ people.
all the belts on the line.
In front of a global audience, live on DAZN.
Now we have a chance to see who is the best.
It's going to be something special.
Do not blink.